Dampare has been sacked by the President of the Republic. Now, sa asemuya abedahui obebusa say na yatete se nkofo bi ka se Dampare yentumi nsake no. Na Dampare e wo se de dwuma ne Germany ye. You know, John Mahama ye nipa bi a you don't have to provoke him. Se ba Ghana mra ye de chichire man 90% of politicians in Ghana John Mahama ni mu chen omu nyina. Se ba governance, the nitty-gritties, the techniques, and how to have your way positively in governance. John Mahama, majority of the so-called think tanks, any intellectuals, any those foolish people parading on your streets say they are intelligent because they speak somebody's language. You know, John Mahama knows the job than all of them. They are foolish. They are just hungry people. And John Mahama is somebody, he smiles a lot. But don't dare provoke John Mahama. Dampare are sacking in them. And because of those fools who thought to say, Dampare could use them to intimidate John Mahama. And I keep telling people, this John Mahama you are seeing is not that John Mahama you knew in 2012, 2013, 2014. This is a new brand. Or your iPhone 17, John Mahama. Or your the latest version. So if you try to think, say, you are a group of people, and now you are groups of people, you can use some tactics to intimidate him, to make him feel, say, he's under pressure. Then John Mahama is going to show the other side of him. You, majority, you have not seen. And Dampare being fired today was because of those people Dampare hired to think, say, they can hide behind text messages and courts to make Dampare, who is the president, Dampare, who was appointed by the president to stay in office. Dampare is a police officer like any police officer. Dampare's position was given to him by the president. The president has the right to sack Dampare, and nobody in Ghana can stop the president from sacking Dampare. That's it. It is a Dampare is going to hide behind some dumb heads, some foolish idiots who think, say, this is Ghana. We can use the media. We can say things. We can write things for people to think, say, we are intelligent. Into Dampare cannot be sacked. Then I want to tell you people, say, Jimmy, they don't even know why the limit of the president's power and what the president can do at the time. Dampare sacking, it is because of fools like these. It is because of foolish men like these. You're from security analysts. It's because of idiots like these who think, say, John Mahama, they're oilful. John Mahama, there he's easy. We can pressurize him to quell. No, you are the fools who have forced John Mahama to sack Dampare because at a particular time, the president of the republic needs to prove to you people that he is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and he is the president. People like you, Saman Way, and Kofi Benson, the likes, you fools who think, say, you can impose your foolish mentality on Ghanaians and ideology, you are the fools who got Dampare to be sacked. Mwe Jimmy, you think Ghana, at every time, NDC power, you people can hide behind this foolish brofotan time bi amoka and enkwasya titles be adamoso to skew the system to favor you guys. You people have been doing this for years. Now, Mamenchira de Kudientia, Dampare sacking, it was easy for the president to do. Now, when somebody says, say, these people have gone to court and that they are going to stop Dampare from being sacked, you need to know, sir, from there now, these people are too foolish to understand. Now, the question here is, when it comes to security matters, when it comes to national security issue, the president should be comfortable with anyone he wants to work with. The president has to make sure Obia oniniye jumebia no trust no. And I'm not saying that Dampare is a bad police officer. He's not. I'm not saying Dampare did not deliver as a police officer. He did. But the issue is the person who is in charge believes that he might be more comfortable with somebody else than Dampare. That does not make Dampare a bad police officer. That does not make Dampare Nipa Bonini. It is the person who wants to govern and people he believes that he can have some idea, trust or he's comfortable with. So for the president to come out and say, Dampare is a good person, But I believe that there are some people I can work with that I will be comfortable with. It does not make Dampare a bad police officer. It does not make Dampare a default police officer that Obia appointing and nobody can sack him. No. When you do that, then it means to say agenda na etari echino is to make or sabotage the president and the government. Because the Chief Justice now, Modi Assembly Command, a Supreme Court to say, Mobile Bekache to say, nobody should. The president should not even think. Because at this point, you are speculating. In Akuffo court, omo foolish group will say, they are going to tell the Supreme Court to say, to say, you have sack Dampare, into the Supreme Court should stop it. The question is, so you are going to court on speculations. How do you build a case based on speculation with Jimmy? And you see, I keep telling Ghanaians to say, in Akuffo, they are on TV, they are on radio, and they are wearing some Vietnam suits, and they are making people think some way, Jimmy. You cannot build a case on speculation, because what to say, President saw the sack Dampare, court, no, the action hasn't happened. What are you going to court to do? Then everybody who was appointed by the president today can go to court and say, in 3 years' time, Minim said John Mahama best sack him. I am telling the court that he should not dare sack me. So who can be sacked in Ghana? Jimmy. You have no intelligence. The foolishness in you, these old boys. Mona mo say Ghana. You are a security analyst, so are you intelligent than anyone? Then if you are going to court today because Dampare was appointed by an appointer or whoever, if the person who appointed Dampare does not have the power to sack Dampare, then any appointee by John Mahama, or be a John Mahama appointing in the Biano, can go to court tomorrow morning and say, in the future, or so be a appointee of John Mahama, ne babe to my court. I can say, in the next 2-3 years, I am sure John Mahama will sack my father. Into today, I'm coming to court to tell the court to stop John Mahama from sacking my father in the next 3 years. That is what we are dealing with. So you go to court based on speculations. How do you go to court based on speculations? The action has not been committed. So if you are going to go to court based on speculations, Judge Papa Ben we are so speculations. Use speculations to judge an issue. In 10 years, not Dampare has not been sacked. How does that case fly? And you see, I keep telling Ghana for say, these people, you have to be careful about Sanko Forum from say we are neutrals. We speak for Ghanaians. We are think tank. We are intellectuals. Makacham say Ghana, majority of intellectuals are foolish. I'm telling you. Yen you anoma mutiti jom eton tomatoes a yembu omo, carpenter for yembu omo, hairdressers yembu omo no mo fie no. Omo ni nyansa chen Akuffo we bebree.